जिनको देखे बेटे आपकी जान निकलती है। When we are on a beach, अचानक पता चले कि लहरें बहुत तेज हो गई, ऊंची हो गई है, हम अपने कमरे का रुख करते हैं, हम अपने बच्चों से कहते हैं घर चलो, यह बहुत खतरा है। But leaders are looking for the way. उस बड़ी लहर को ढूंढ के उनको भी बताए कि आज समंदर में बहुत ज्यादा टर्बुलेंस है, तो घर से अपना बोट उठाते हैं। And they get to where? The ocean. And they ride those beautiful waves. I call those waves the waves of change. And the world is constantly changing. Yes or no? So when so much is changing, as a leader, imagine when you are on the board, what do? First of all, you balance. And then you focus. And then you constantly adapt. You cannot control the waves. You can't see or sometimes predict tides in the sky. So all you got to do is you got to show flexibility, you got to show agility, you got to show adaptability to be able to quickly adjust. And the leaders who do not adjust, S&P 500 ने भी रिलीज किया कि दुनिया भर में एवरेज the number of years they for a company, the average lifespan of a company in 1958 it used to be 61 years. Now it is only 20 years. Most of the organizations they get it. Why? Because the leaders, while in the driving seat, they are not able to stay agile. And then comes the third pillar. The first one is, I call it connection. Could you please bring your both hands together and say with me, connection. That's the first pillar. The second pillar is, I call it agile. So move your hand. Put your hand here, for instance, I'm supposed to go from here. Okay, no, I'm not allowed to, but I will try. देखते हैं मैं जानता तो नहीं तो मैं यहाँ पे आना चाहता हूँ, but the world is not as simple these days. हो सकता है मुझे यहाँ से वहाँ जाने के लिए इधर से घूम के आना पड़े. I might have to show a lot of flexibility to eventually get here. So the world these days, you will always remember this talk where somebody is going to show you their hand, you're going to look at your own hand, you're going to remember this talk. Why? Because you're going to use your hand and say agile. Everyone please, agile. So the leaders of the future, not only they got to be connected, they got to be agile as well. And once you are connected and agile, for instance, let me ask you a very powerful question. Imagine the product or the service or the business that gave you is $1 billion, suddenly something happens and your technology becomes totally obsolete. Some business is totally eliminating yours. What are you going to do? Starting from today. So you show agility and you do something. For instance, you are getting to a wedding, traffic jam है, आप घर वापस नहीं आते. अगर आपको पता है कि शादी किसके से बंदे की है, जिसके साथ बहुत जबरदस्त connection, you will have an excuse. But if you are not flirting with your life goal or a mission of the organization, you probably would find a way. This is what we call agility. And once you are connected, agile, again success wouldn't be enough in the future. You got to have the third pillar. And I call it, raise your hand here, one more time. Because सारा मौका नहीं आता. And bring this hand closer to your heart. And say the third pillar, service. Service. So look at the finest people the world has ever produced. Look at the most successful leaders that the world has ever seen. You think they were takers or givers? They were all givers. You would never ever respect a leader who would come into a room and say, what can I gain here? But you will always respect somebody who says, what can I give here? Because one takes from the takers and it gives to the givers. So the businesses and the organizations where somebody in the top is a service-driven leader, their business results, latest McKinsey research says they are 20% higher than the average organizations who are just focused on the profits but not focused on the service. The organizations where leaders are service-driven and focus on giving, hired a latest research by Deloitte. So you could be a taker or you could begin to give. But leaders of the future, they can't afford to be takers. They got to give. They want you to look at a partner or to like maybe this is your moment to be able to develop a more connection with them. Look at them and ask with a total sincerity in your heart. Ask them. First look into their eyes and say, okay, I serve you. Can you do that? In this very moment. Okay, I serve you. Right? And can you say one more thing? It will be an honor to serve you. Can you say that? Why? Why am I saying this? Because in order for you to say to somebody, it will be my honor to serve you, you got to crush your ego. Your ego will stop you. Why should I offer myself to serve them? Because most of the leaders these days that I interact with, very few of them are driven by the sense of service. Most of the leaders, and that's the reason that there's a crisis of leadership. I wrote a book called Make a Crisis, published by Hay House. It's not about the economic or COVID-related crisis of the world. It was a crisis related to what we call leadership. And here comes the last pillar of my talk. The first one was everyone, connection, agility, service, and here comes the last one. And I call it, which is a very, very critical pillar, I call it ethical. So leaders of the future, they got to be connected, agile, service-driven, ethical. 7B, one more time, ethical. And the symbol for ethical is this, nothing to hide, ethical. So I read a recent research that says 78% of the leaders, they're concerned, deeply concerned, and I'm talking about the tech leaders, they're deeply concerned about the ethical challenges in the tech industry. The reason is that the things that we all see and hear being developed in the business world, they might have some ethical challenges associated with it as well. For example, how many of you got a product? Alright, now imagine for a moment that you're going to launch the product today, and this launch can make and break your company, and all eyeballs on you, and the media on you, and investors are looking at you, and suddenly you get to understand that your app has a privacy challenge. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. I need to finish my talk.
Yeah, you should.
So imagine you have a product, you are going to launch it, and there's a deadline, but suddenly there's a privacy issue. Would you launch it without any concern? Would you abandon the launch? Would you cancel? Or would you make an announcement to the users? So my question is that any decision that you take will have some ethical dilemma associated with it. And hence, I'm going to give you a formula and I'll finish in a minute. Are you with me?
Yes.
So whenever you're going to make a decision, अपने आप से पहला सवाल करें
नहीं करना
और सवाल ये is it going to be legal?
Okay.
Two, क्या मैं किसी कंट्री का अपनी कंपनी कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट उसको वायलेट नहीं कर रहा? Three, ये जो गोल्डन रूल है राइट और रॉन्ग का am I violating it? Fourth, if I get to talk about this decision on the dining table at home with my family, will I be comfortable doing it? Will my children be proud of it? And final, अगर ये किसी मीडिया चैनल पे आ गया, तो would you be proud or would you be concerned? So ethics आखिरी कदम नहीं है, मेरे ख्याल में ethics पहला कदम है. Once you are ethical, and you are service driven, and you are agile, and also you are absolutely connected with yourself, with your customers, and with him, I believe you can make a huge impact in this world. Thank you so much for being great listeners.
कर लेंगे शाम 7-8
अपने